Okay, thank you for becoming a fan. I'm all new to this. So, all right. Let's see if this is going to... Thank you for becoming a fan. It's Niam. All right. Good. Now, I hope you all can hear me clearly. And hold on. I'm checking everything in the software if it's working well. Okay. Well, if it's good, this is streamed on Instagram also. So I'm checking out if that's working well. Hold on. Well, that's the purpose of it. I don't see an Instagram Live active with me at the moment. So, all right. So, I'm doing well, as always. I'm an anthropologist and sociologist. I grew up in the Netherlands. So how are you all today? This over there. Okay. Now look, in this video, I want to talk about well, singing is not really what I'm doing on this live. On this live, I'm going to make broadcasts. On this YouNow account, I'm going to make some lectures that I'm going to air. And feel free to comment or give your feedback or whatever. The topic I'm going to talk about today is when society gives allowances to stuff that they shouldn't give an allowance to. How many of you have experienced this? That your home society gave an allowance to some type of behavior or a group of people they shouldn't have given to. Okay? So let me know. I'm going to wait for 1 minute before I continue. Okay. All right. So, this is something I've explained on my YouTube channel also. And I believe on my YouNow profile, you can also go, you should see a link to my YouTube channel also. So you should be able to do that. And on my YouTube channel, I teach spiritual and historical topics from an anthropological and sociological point of view. And I've explained there what society is, namely a blood oath in which adults agree to flee life collectively. And they decide that everyone who doesn't flee from life the same way they do, they are dealt with. Okay? So that's what society is. Society is a collective blood oath. It's a blood oath because everyone who does not agree to flee life the same way those other adults do, they're taken out. Either just socially excluded, ostracized, or sometimes even killed. But for the killing, if it comes so far, they have special agencies that do the dirty work for them, whether criminal or legal. So that's society. So society, by its very design, is narcissistic. Hope you can follow me now. So society being narcissistic, by its very default, implies that society will allow some bad stuff to happen that it shouldn't allow to happen. And those bad stuff that society allows to happen are satanic allowances. So, whether you're watching this from Instagram or Facebook or from which other platform, let me know in the live chat if you know what a satanic allowance is. Just explain it. A satanic allowance is when society allows something bad to happen that it could have easily prevented. I'll wait for a minute for your responses. So, we know now what a satanic allowance is. Okay? Now, ask yourself the following. When something horrible happens in a community, what is the first reaction of the people to it? Correct? They're horrified, they're upset, they're going to ask who's this monster, and all blah, 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 and all of that. But one thing you'll notice very quickly is that anytime something horrible, something very tragic happens in the community, people immediately focus on either the closure or catching the bad guy. Why is that? Why do they focus on either closure while it just happens or on catching the bad guy? And often when they focus on catching the bad guy, all their attention goes to catching the bad guy. And you're there, and sometimes you think, huh? But did we even process what actually happened? Now, on my YouTube channel, I've made hours of live streams and videos discussing exactly this. Okay? But so for those who want to look more into it, you can check my YouTube channel. I also have a BitChute channel also, in which other places, and also have a Daily Motion. But just understand the following here. Society, as a narcissistic construct, they have no interest in actually solving long-term problems. If you're in a live chat, please repeat this for me. Society has no interest in solving long-term problems. Oh, wait a minute before you have repeated in live chat for me. To repeat so that I know that you're on code with what I'm saying. Oh, hold on a minute. I notice now that this YouNow is also streaming on my YouTube. Ah, I get it now. Because I've registered my Google account. That's why. But okay. Well, anyway, so people on my YouTube channel will also see this. I'm not posting actively on YouTube these days, but okay, so probably now. Probably the people are watching right now. That's good. So on YouTube, people can replay it later on. So, okay, let me see if I see anything over here. Okay, so now that I know this also streaming on YouTube, so let me go to YouTube and see if anyone has said anything over there. Okay. Hold on. All right, I get it. Society has no interest in solving long-term problems. Okay, so we know that. So if society has no interest in solving long-term problems, what are they doing? I'm telling you what they're up to. Society is all about offering narcissistic supply to the masses. That's the only thing that they're interested in. Society refers to this blood oath that all adults agree with in an area. A community is a bunch of people living together. You can have several communities that form one society. Let's take, for example, the state of Florida. The state of Florida has several communities living there. You have a Hispanic community, you have Asian community, you have African community, you have an Afro-American community, so the blacks in the United States. You have the white American community. But the state of Florida is part of the United States, it's part of U.S. society. And U.S. society is the blood oath people agree with over there. So do you understand the difference between a community and a society? Let me know that in live chat if you understand that, so that you don't get confused with it. A community is a bunch of human beings living together whether it's in a town or in an area. And society is the collective oath that the adults agree with in a certain territory. Mm-hmm. So I'll wait for a minute before I get some answers before I continue. All right. Praise the Lord. Things are going well. Okay. So society always has one agenda, and that is preserving the narcissistic relief of the masses. That's it. And society always is the victim. Society is always the one done dirty to. So everyone that is part of society, so everyone that agrees with the blood oath is automatically the victim, and then something bad happens. So it's a collective victim mentality that people enact one another. So society, therefore, is also a collective victim mentality people cling on to. So what have we captured so far? Society is a blood oath of adults wanting to flee life. So that's a narcissistic attitude that they collectively share with one another. They agree to afflict anyone, so that even with physical death, that doesn't get along when they're fleeing. So society is a fear construct to provide narcissistic supply to the masses. And the masses always feel the victim anytime they don't get what they want as a group. So here's one thing. Society is never genuine. Society never is. Communities can be genuine, okay? But society never is. Society always has that one agenda, getting relief. And here's the thing, society uses violence as well as blackmail to get the relief they want from you. And you have no option whatsoever to say no or to negotiate. You're not allowed to say no, and you're not allowed to negotiate with society. That's the rule. Society is as this entity who always is expected to hear yes. Society is not used to hear no. Society doesn't want to hear no. You have no to give. You have nothing to choose from. Society wants it, you have to find a way to do what society wants. Okay, but when you want something, it's not relevant. So it's a one-way street. So knowing all this about society, it shouldn't surprise you that society gives satanic allowances to perpetrators. So let me give an example of a satanic allowance, which is quite common in some areas in the world still. Beating and hitting children under the guise of discipline. First of all, a discipline is something you teach an adult who wants to grow into something. If you join the military, you're disciplined into military strategies. If you're about to become a car mechanic, you're disciplined into the art of being a car mechanic. If you're about to become a news presenter, they discipline you in how to present yourself. So discipline is teaching someone or training someone into performing an activity. So why are you disciplining little children? That already is all out of line. And by the word discipline is often used in a military sense. So I would use a military term when it comes to little children. It doesn't add up. And so the whole idea of disciplining children means that you're shaping them into some expectation. What expectation is it? And is this expectation justified causing violence and threats of violence on them? Here's the thing. If your wife didn't listen to her boss at work and the boss at work began to smack her to teach her a lesson, you wouldn't be happy. Or if some politician lied or took advantage, other people gathering together with bells to whoop his behind. No, they don't do it. So the adults out there who act stupid and out of line, we don't go out there whooping their behinds. Why is it then that when it comes to little children who are fragile, vulnerable human beings with no other options, we think we're justified doing it? That's cowardice. But this is a satanic allowance that some societies allow. Why? Because when children are available as a dump site for the business of the community, the children cannot fight back. So the children have no choice but accept it. That's how the community can relieve itself from its tensions. So that's why child abuse is tolerated in many societies. It is because it is a satanic allowance that preserves the narcissistic relief that the adults crave. Another satanic allowance is false teachings. You have those churches that teach false stuff that don't add up. Why are those false churches even allowed to exist to exploit people abusing the Bible? It is because there is a benefit for society in it. Namely, all those people who are trapped in those churches, they are there every Sunday. So because they're there every Sunday, they are contained. And because they are contained, the rest of the community is not bothered by their psychological issues. So to provide relief to the masses, they give concessions to those wolves in sheep's clothing who abuse the gospel just to exploit the poor and the vulnerable. So that's another satanic allowance. And then there are satanic allowances that people believe in. For example, people believe in the right to think and feel and choose whatever they want. But hold on a minute, if we agree with this, that means that the child molester also has the right to feel, think, and choose whatever he wants. That means that the racist wants to kill off black folks also has the right to feel, think, and act the way he wants. So this whole thing called free will is actually a myth to give people some satisfaction as if they're the god of their own life. The whole idea of you having your own life separate from all other human beings, it doesn't even exist biologically, it doesn't exist in reality. It's just something society made up to let people feel like they're in control. Because when fallen mankind feels like they are in control, they tend to behave better because they feel like they're in control. The moment fallen mankind has recognized they're not in control at all, they tend to give up and they tend to escalate. That's why the whole hoax of free will is taught to people. And a lot of people agree with free will because free will tells them they can say no to whatever they want. They don't have to take it. They don't have to explain themselves. But here's the thing. If you are in your own house and you are doing something that's illegal or doing something that's harmful to the community, they can send the SWAT team or they can send the FBI, whatever, to arrest you and put you in chains. And you can't tell the judge, hey, it's my will, it's my free will, it's my this and that. The judge will say, no, no, no. Just because you have an ability to choose doesn't mean you can choose whatever you want. People have to take whatever consequence comes from your choices. You have something to explain to the community. But a lot of people embrace this idea of free will just because it gratifies them. For example, you have this saying in the world that goes like this: the world owes you nothing. Hold on a minute. If the world owes you nothing, that means the world can treat you as the world wants. That means if a car hits you, the world doesn't owe to look for the perpetrator and put them on trial. That means if your daughter was raped by the right rapist, that means society just allow the rapist to go free and don't care about the healing of your daughter. So the whole idea that the world owes you nothing, it goes against reality, it goes against fact, it goes against the Bible, it goes against Christ. There's no way to justify it. Society is also in conflict with the community because society is a narcissistic construct. It's all based about getting relief on the short term to escape life. And that can never be beneficial to any community. There's no such thing as a good society. It does not exist. Society is a fear construct in which people want to escape life. That's what it is. They camouflage this by having celebrities and public figures that speak on behalf of society, that society has benefits if you just work hard enough. But here's the thing, you work as hard as you want and the benefits never come. And the older you become, the more excuses you're fed. So, anytime society allows bad stuff or a tragedy to happen that you could have easily prevented, that's a satanic allowance. Because if they have to prevent that tragedy or that bad thing, then people come to ask, why did you prevent all this other stuff? And then they cannot answer it. Because the whole concept of society is to avoid life, is to avoid discomfort, and is to get things to do. That's what it goes on this. The whole purpose of society is for worldlings, that is fallen mankind, to get what they want without actually being what they want. Fallen mankind wants all the good in life, not actually participating in life. They want to avoid life and all life's challenges, but at the same time want the benefit of life. That's not possible. So worldlings want to cheat themselves into benefits. And that's what society is for. And society is a conflict in which people argue who has the right to cheat who. That's what it comes down to. So, that being said about society, never ever fall for let's catch the bad guys attitude that they present to you. Even if an evil perpetrator was involved in some tragedy or whatever, where did evil perpetrator come from? That evil perpetrator grew up in that same society. So that society shaped how people became. So why doesn't society take responsibility for the bad folks it has shaped? No. When someone turns out a monster, it's always the fault of the parents, or it's always the fault of the individual, always the fault of some weird church or whatever. Okay, but if the parents were out of their minds, why didn't society intervene? Or if there was some weird cult somewhere, why didn't society shut down the cult? If someone is running a drug pin somewhere, selling drugs on the streets, very quickly society sends police officers and it's over. So if there's some weird cult that brainwash people, why didn't society shut it down? Why did it allow those sociopaths to have this cult to groom people? That's what I mean. Society never takes responsibility. Society wants all the credit when things go well with you, but when things go bad, it's all on you. It's all on your parents or whatever. So that's why learn to work with communities if the communities want solutions. Because not all communities want solutions. But you can never win with society. You cannot win with society. Society is not designed to win. Society is designed to escape. Do you follow me now? Society is designed to escape. That's what society is designed for. Society is not designed to solve, nor to live. And here's the thing. Anytime society gives a satanic allowance, the public tends to talk around it. And the moment you, as an individual, speak up against it, you're the one in trouble. You're the one they come after. You're the one they're going to put in place, saying, oh, why do you talk like that against your father or against the mayor or whatever? Who do you think you are? Show some respect. Respect simply means give validation. Anytime you do not give in to whatever satanic allowance society puts out there, society comes after you to shut you down. So understand that there is no winning on a societal level. There can only be winning on a community level if the community is realistic. So that is why the saints are told not to be conformed to the pattern of this world. Because the pattern of this world or of society is to avoid the challenges of life, but at the same time cheat yourself into the benefits of life. And the way you cheat yourself into benefits is by exploiting and draining victims. That's the world. One way this happens is as follows. You have this system called money, okay, where they print some paper at some factory and the government, spread it around to the banks. The employers get it from the bank and pay the employees. And people on welfare, they get the same printed cash, but it's put on their bank account immediately. Now, the people that go to work every day feel tired, and they're told that they need to pay back some of the paper they just received. But here's the thing, if the government needs more of that paper, which you call money, they can print it anytime. So why are the people that work for it have to pay something back? That doesn't add up. And the people that are on welfare, they're paid directly by the printing press of the government. But the public is told that it's the taxes you pay that pays for the welfare of those other people. So the people who go to work every day feel bitter often, not all of them, but all of them feel bitter because you have people who don't work and yet they get money. But here's the thing, both of your money is printed by the same printing press. Only some people get it for free as welfare, and others get it by performing labor. So if you're upset that you have to wake up every morning to go to work, to get a piece of paper to get paid, then you should deal with the government that you live under. Why is it arranged such a way? But here's the thing. Society doesn't want to admit that this is like this. They always tell you, oh, if the taxes are paying the welfare and all of that. It's not true. And when you follow the money, you realize it's not true. But why are they teaching this? It is because the whole system of money is there to keep you trapped. It's not there for you to prosper. Now, why is that? It's because worldlings or fallen mankind craves control. So if everyone needs to wake up every morning to get a piece of paper, or else they can't pay rent, or else they're homeless, and everyone is controlled. And in order for this control mechanism to work, some people need to be losers. So on purpose, some people can't have jobs and they need to be on welfare. And then the masses who do go to work every day feel narcissistic relief because at least they go to work. They're not like those people on their so-called lazy behind getting money for free. So it's a narcissistic construct that society keeps in place. So this is a satanic allowance, because if you work, you are drained. If you don't work, you're trapped. So you don't win. Those that start their own trade and manage to manipulate the money system in their favor, they get taxation service saying you need to pay taxes. So they don't take much of that money away from you. Or if you do it in a way that they consider criminal, whether it's criminal or not, they can kidnap you and put you behind bars. So when you look at the whole thing, it's a narcissistic control structure that the masses keep in place just to feel relieved. So, how do you win in such a prison system? You win by acknowledging what it is, by not sugarcoating it, and realize you need spiritual power behind you. That's what you do. So, because you recognize that you need spiritual power, you now look for the spiritual power you need. And on my YouTube channel, I've over 5,400 uploads over there. I don't expect you to watch them all, but I've spoken about spiritual power, the supernatural and paranormal and all of that, so you can check that out. Just realize that by just following society's rules, you will not win. Because society is not designed for you to win. Society is designed for you to be trapped. How many of you know what national flags are about? I'll give you 2 minutes to answer in the live chat. How many of you know what national flags are about? Let me know in the live chat. I'll wait. Okay. I may have to wait a little bit longer because there's a little bit of a delay in the live. So let me see. Can you hear me? Okay. National flags. A national flag is the symbol of a society that they have the right to turn their own members into victims at any time they see fit. That's what the national flag is meant for. So if you love to wave the American flag, the flag of the United States of America, you're actually saying that you recognize the grip of American society over you. And by doing that, you also recognize the entitlement of American society to victimize you when it fits their agenda. Okay? So that's what the national flag is. You also have regional flags, flags of states or flags of provinces. It all comes down to the same thing. And behind those national flags, you also have black magic spells that are at work. Because remember, society is a structure that victimizes people, that does not give in to the relief that masses crave. So it's based on black magic anyway. So anytime you cling onto a national flag or a flag of any country or of any place, you are agreeing with the blood sacrifices done in the past to keep that society together. Now look, if you're from Ireland and you use the Irish flag on your social media profile, say you're from Ireland, okay, that's different. But the moment you actually cling onto the flag and you identify with it, now you're in the blood oath. So know what you're dealing with. There is no winning on a societal level, only on a communal level. You can win with communities, but you can never win with society. You can win with communities, but you can never win with the society. So that is why I always tell people to check the context of what you're involved in. Many people, especially believers, those that follow Christ, they want to win on a societal level. And I'm just telling you plain out, that's never going to work. The same way you can't win with an individual narcissist because they're hell-bent on losing, the same way you can't win with society, which is a narcissistic construct. And it's another thing. A society can only exist if there is some type of physical structure that can imprison people. Look, if you have a large area with many villages here and there, with many farms, that means you have a few hundred communities over there. But if everyone within that area speaks the same language, and they identify as the same offspring, that can be a society. But that society is not affected because you only have a few hundred villages and hundreds of communities over there. That's it. There is no actual structure to threaten people into compliance. But what if a few hundred of those villages are demolished and you have several cities built in its place? Because you have a city population, the population in the cities depends on the extortion of the farmers. Okay, so you have less people on the farms, so the farms need to work over hours to feed the people in the city. And now the people that run the city have leverage over the masses that live in the city. And now, when you live in the city and you have no leverage to get out of the city, and you're dependent for your daily needs, for daily needs, you depend on the city, now society is effective because there is an incentive for you to comply. Because if you could just walk away to the farm of your neighbor and get some food over there, then why would you listen to people expect you to behave a certain way? But if you live in a city and you don't get any food unless you have a job, and the only way you can get a job is if you behave as everyone else wants you to behave, now society becomes real to you. Now there's an incentive for you to cooperate because there's an or else that will haunt you. So is a city by itself a bad thing? No, a city in itself is not a bad thing. An urban area is not evil in itself, absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with an urban area and there's nothing wrong with a rural area. However, urban areas are often used as hotspots to control the masses. And during the Industrial Revolution of the late 18th and beginning 19th century, during the Industrial Revolution, most of the masses were pushed into cities. And in the 20th century, this process was almost completed by having, in most countries, most of the people live in cities. Well, there are countries where you have a big agricultural population, like in Africa. But in general, Most people live in urban areas. It's a process that's taken almost a century to complete, but that's where we are now. All right. So, sociologists are trained to deal with the urban dynamics in urbanized societies. That's what sociologist is. An anthropologist focuses on the philosophical roots, so the philosophical spiritual roots of the culture that forms the society. You can have a culture without a society, but society always needs a culture to justify itself. Now, I'm an anthropologist and a sociologist. I do both. Okay? So that's why I'm able to explain all this to you. So understand that society is a narcissistic construct and it needs a grip on you to trick you into being conformed of its image. Society is actually idolatry that's institutionalized. But people won't call it that way, but that's really what it comes down to. So, whatever conflict, whatever issue goes out there on the earth is likely a satanic allowance by society. So, don't expect society to cooperate with you to get a solution. Some communities will cooperate with you. Always remember that. All right. Well, this was my first live on YouNow. Are there any questions? I'm going to wait for a few minutes to see if I get any questions. All right. Let's see here. Okay. If I don't get any questions, I'll be ending this live now. Just realize that societal solutions do not exist. Community solutions are possible. A community has some self-reliance financially and economically, and because of that, they don't have to be oppressed or tricked by society's demands. Okay, indeed, society is institutionalized idolatry. So that's why it's important as saints or as believers to build communities. We don't form societies, we build communities. We don't form societies, we build communities. And by building communities, you secure wealth and abundance for the group. And human beings are community creatures anyway. Society is a counterfeit of the community. So society will always cause addictive behaviors in people. Our community will actually make people more at ease. I'm not saying that a community will solve all the psychological issues of a human being. Absolutely not, because for that you need the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not I'm not saying that, but communities are natural. Society is artificial and demonic. Just because something is artificial doesn't mean it's wrong. Artificial things are not wrong. Okay? Computers are artificial. A mobile phone is artificial. But I'm using a mobile phone now and a laptop to communicate with you. The internet is artificial, but it's not evil in itself. But society is both artificial and demonic. Why is it demonic? Because it's powered through black magic. And the black magic needs the collective victims to operate. All right? Good. Well, that's it for now. I say it is always, I agree with Christ, but if you don't know him, please serve him. It's worth it. Well, that's it for now. Let's see how to end this out here. Be at peace, y'all.